How have we become accustomed to seeing images of Black pain and Black death in our media landscape? What is the relationship between these images of Black pain and movements for racial justice, both historically in our present in the context of the United States? These are two central questions that will guide our inquiry and our study in Race, Pain, and Media, which is a new 4-week online seminar offered through Night School Durham. Night School Durham offers pay what you can, donation-based arts and humanities courses for any and all curious individuals who want to learn. Race, Pain, and Media is set to begin Monday, November 16th, and it will run until December 7th. It will meet once a week on Mondays from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can sign up for the course and learn more at nightschoolbar.com. My name is Anu Dahaya. I will be the instructor of Race, Pain, and Media. And if you want to learn more about my background in my teaching experience, you can visit my personal website, anudahaya.com or nightschoolbar.com. So a general introduction to Race, Pain, and Media. In the aftermath of the murder of George Floyd in May 2020, the video of his death at the hands of Minneapolis police officers circulated over and over again, both in the US and across the globe. So this raises the question, what role has media played in making the display of Black pain and Black death simultaneously a spectacle, something to be looked at, and also a violent expected norm, something that we have become accustomed to seeing? So in this course, we will analyze the pivotal role media, both traditional media such as newspapers, radio, television, and social media, especially Twitter and Facebook, has played in social movements for racial justice in the United States. We will ask what stories have captured mass media attention in the past and in our present, and how have we come to expect to see images of Black pain and Black death in our media landscape. And more specifically, even if these images are shown within our media to raise awareness and to fight for racial justice, even then, what are the politics and what are the effects of seeing images of Black people being in pain about extreme violence being done to Black bodies? And in many of the videos that have gone viral in the past few years of seeing Black people breathe the last few breaths of their entire life, of watching people die on camera. The reason why I designed this course and I want to teach this and I'm looking forward to having these discussions because I think they're important is because in this past summer, in May of 2020, when George Floyd was killed on May 25th, and like this introduction says, how when the video of his death, that approximately 9-minute video went viral, I remember personally being psychologically frozen from seeing that video over and over again. And this past summer, people who had never really thought about or saw the importance of Black Lives Matter began to take that movement and what it stands for and what change it is calling for in terms of calling for a future in which Black lives do matter, in which we don't have to see these images of Black pain and Black death because they no longer happen. There was this huge rise in public interest in Black Lives Matter. That's a good thing, but one question that raised for me and that, motivated why I designed this course is, what does it mean that we have to see or we have to be shown proof of Black bodies in extreme pain, of Black bodies on the brink of death, and Black bodies dying for social change to occur in the US? There's the ethics of seeing these images and these videos was something that I think was not being discussed, and it pushed me to design this course. So key topics and concepts in this course. One will be the history of photography and lynching. There's actually a perverse symbiotic relationship between the history and the advent of photography and the history of lynching in the United States. Um, Lynching can be defined as the extrajudicial killing of someone by a group of people, often a mob, oftentimes for a reason is given for a lynching in the sense of the group decides that someone committed a crime, or it can also be just to scare someone, to intimidate their family, and to just do extreme violence to someone. And to be lynched is an extrajudicial killing. In the history of the United States, there's estimated to be around 5,000 lynchings that are documented, and almost all of those lynchings have been done to Black people. Um, so in this course, we will think about the relationship between race, pain, and media through the rise of photography as a visual medium and its relation to lynching. This will be a part of the course which I am calling Race, Pain, and Spectacle, in the sense of images of photographs of lynching that were taken were not done so in the hopes to bring about social change. They were used to memorialize or to commemorate something that was seen as a spectacle that many white people watched in groups and in crowds. So we will talk about this violent uh, history of the relationship between photography and lynching, and that will really help ground our discussion in theorizing the different ways in which images are used in thinking about the relationship between race, pain, and media. We'll also think about the strategic circulation of images of Black pain in the civil rights movement, similar to how the video of George Floyd being killed galvanized people to begin to see what the idea behind the movement for Black Lives, or hashtag Black Lives Matter, was talking about. This strategic use of images of Black pain was something that was at play in the civil rights movement. And so we will think about how images of violence and harm against Black people create the possibility for legal and social change if it reaches um, the right audience, and if the story being conveyed in those images tell a particular narrative. This will actually be something we talk about in our first class. We'll also think about the possibilities and the limitations of both traditional and new media as this relates to social movements. And we'll look at the role Twitter and Facebook have played in contemporary social movements around the world, but paying particular attention to the US, and how smartphones have changed the idea of who is a journalist, in the sense of a new category of journalists has been invented by how so many of us have owned smartphones now, in the concept of a citizen journalist. We will also look at the origins of the movement for Black Lives in terms of the story of how it came about. In 2012, after or related to George Zimmerman killing 17-year-old Trayvon Martin, and we'll also study the hashtag of Black Lives Matter, and also the relationship between online activism and offline activism. We will also take a look and study the origins of the hashtag Say Her Name. Say Her Name was a hashtag created in 2014 to call attention to how there is a silence and an invisibility of news media and coverage and care about the violence done to Black women at the hands of the police. There continuously seems to be a trend in which videos or images or stories about police violence against Black men, making it to the center of news coverage, which it should, but there is a consistent trend about stories and atrocities against Black women not being covered by the media, and it's in relationship to this that the hashtag Say Her Name was created. So we'll talk about why there continues to be media silence about violence against Black women and how the concept of intersectionality, which was a concept coined or created in 1989 by Black feminist theorist and legal scholar Professor Kimberly Crenshaw, how intersectionality can challenge the invisibility and the silence of stories or drawing attention to violence against Black women in media. We will end the course thinking about the future of race pain in media, and specifically we'll talk about new opportunities and challenges and dangers of using social media and smartphones to fight for racial justice. In particular, we will discuss how images of protesters at protests from the recent months have been used by the police to identify particular protesters and to arrest them or penalize them in some other way. Your image as a protester fighting for racial justice can be now used against you in our current age of surveillance, of digital surveillance that we have entered and are living within. So we will discuss challenges and dangers of race pain in media, but also the new possibilities that still exist. And we will end the course thinking about, could there be a future in which we would not have to circulate images of Black pain and Black death to call for there to be social, legal, political change in terms of how Black people are treated in the US? Could there be a future in which we wouldn't have to circulate these images because could there be a future in which Black lives mattered? So we will end the course thinking about that idea. The focus for our first class, which again meets Monday, November 16th, is there's one reading assignment and one documentary that I'm requesting you watch before class. So the reading is Deborah Walker King's African Americans and the Culture of Pain. It's a book that came out in 2008 through the University of Virginia Press. And so I've asked you to read selections or parts of the introduction in chapter 1. And the PDF of the reading is available on the Race Pain Media Google Drive folder that everyone who signs up for the course has access to. The second assignment or thing to watch before class is an NBC documentary from this past summer, June 2020, called Hope and Fury, MLK, the Media. Hope and Fury, MLK, the Movement and Media. It's about an hour and a half, and it's an interesting documentary that talks about how images of Black pain were strategically used in the civil rights movement to call for social change. The full documentary is available on YouTube for free. So both, there are no texts or books you need to buy for this course. Everything will be made available to you as PDFs through the course Google Drive folder. So just to reiterate, our first class meets Monday, November 16th from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can sign up for the course if you have not done so at nightschoolbar.com. I'm looking forward to meeting you all and to having these critical conversations and learning and growing with you. And I will see you all soon.